get out of this hotel. In bike races, you have your highs and lows. Some hotels are good, some hotels are not. I mean, look at this. We're in this quaint little village. You think it'd be a nice place to stay, but the room smelled moldy, the bathroom was moldy, and the breakfast, well, terrible. But I don't want to complain too much. Let's talk about time trials. They're truly funny things. Cyclists rarely get a chance to race them throughout the year. They require special bikes, special helmets, special clothing. The setup is so different that Chris Froome recently suggested that time trial bikes should be banned. Stranger still, with so few time trials on offer throughout the year, they play such a major part in determining the overall winner of the Tour de France in July, a discipline that's rarely used but with such a major impact. I'm in the middle of France in Creuse, the second most desolate area in the whole country. And in fact, this department here was the last one to host a stage finish of the Tour de France on the country's mainland. Just east of here today, the riders face stage 4 of Paris-Nice, a 13-kilometer time trial, which, by the way, is identical to the opening time trial stage in the Tour de France this year in Copenhagen. But I gotta get out of this place. It's way too quiet for me. I'm heading 45 kilometers east down the road to Mont-Luçon, and that's the finish of today's stage. To find out the importance of the time trial here and the time trials in the Tour de France, and whether or not we should even be racing on time trial bikes. On y va. Boulangerie, we're gonna get some quick food. I got my cookie, got a little sandwich, and some coffee to keep me ticking for the rest of this time trial. Now, let's talk about what Chris Froome said recently, because Froome said that we should ban time trial bikes because they're dangerous, not so much in the races, but those riders, in order to be fit for a time trial of like 40 kilometers, what we have, the second time trial in the Tour de France this year, they gotta train on those time trial bikes. And that could be dangerous in a race situation, let alone a training situation. You get your hands out there on the bars, the brakes aren't out there. If you need to brake quickly, you gotta put your hands down there, grab the brakes. It's also not the most agile bike to be riding around town in traffic, and you see a lot of crashes. Let's talk about what we can get out of this Dauphiné stage today. 13 kilometers. Yesterday, Mats Pedersen, who is from Denmark, noticed the similarities for this stage onto the Tour de France stage 1, the opening stage. Whoever wins that stage, not only get a Tour de France stage victory, but you also get the maillot jaune, the yellow jersey, so everything's up for grab on stage 1 of the Tour de France. A time trial like today, you're going to be able to learn a lot to apply to the Tour de France. You have to figure that riders don't even often race in time trials throughout the season. Looking at Primoz Roglic, he's going to race 1, 2, 3 time trials before the Tour de France. Here in Paris-Nice, in the Pays Vasco, which is a short 5K affair, and in the Criterium du Dauphiné, a month ahead, about three weeks ahead of the Tour de France. Very few opportunities to test their legs in a race situation for a time trial. So every time trial they race, it's a perfect situation and very important for them to test themselves. We want to look to some of these GC guys like the Yates, like Nairo Quintana, and of course Primoz Roglic, who's still trying to win the Tour de France. Look at this baguette. So he's going to put down the markers here in the Paris-Nice time trial. And we're going to be able to look at these results, look at the pacing, look at how everybody went, how Brendan McNulty went, see who's on form, get all that information. It's going to compare to the 13-kilometer time trial in the Tour de France, but also we'll be able to extrapolate the results in this time trial to apply it to that penultimate stage in the Tour de France, the 40-kilometer time trial. We're going to get a lot of information out of today, so it should be pretty exciting. I'm going to knock back this coffee, the sandwich, and I'm going to get up there, speak to the riders as they one by one finish this time trial stage, the race of truth.
Roglic leads, Dennis is second, Kung is third at 8 seconds, and Wout van Aert is closing in on the finish line now. Wout van Aert chasing the time of Primoz Roglic. Well, this one looks like it's going to be close again. Is he going to do it? Wout van Aert wins the time trial. 2.1 seconds faster than his teammate.
Right, so here's the situation so far. Wout van Aert just set the best time on the day. Well, in fact, won the stage ahead of his teammate Primoz Roglic. Over there, Christophe Laporte still in the yellow jersey. He's going to lose the yellow jersey today, but the fans are gathered around him, and what a wild day. Primoz, after seeing Wout van Aert come in, just rode immediately away, but we got Wout van Aert up there on the podium. He's going to get the stage win. He's going to get the yellow jersey. This Belgian kid can do anything and everything. We're going to go up there and talk with him. Just get an idea of how all the big guns did today heading towards the Tour de France.
How important is this? I mean, I think it's your only time trial heading into the Tour de France, and you come out and you win it.
Well, normally I will do Dauphiné as well. And there's, yeah, I mean, it's a longer time trial, I guess, 30 kilometers, so it's a bit different. So looking to the distance, this is a good tryout for the Tour.
I think it's important if you want to do GCs. It's always good to go all out and to learn your body also how far you can go. So I think it's always important to go full gas.
I wanted to come here, one of the reasons I wanted to come here instead of Torino. Bit more of a lumpy TT in Torino. The road is quite sort of flat out and backs, British 10 style. So I wasn't really, it's hard for me to really test myself there. But here you really have to pace it, judge your corners a little bit as well. So it's good here.
Yeah, of course it's important. I mean, there are indeed lesser and lesser stage races also with the TT. What is a shame, of course, we have to say that when we finish 1, 2, 3 in the time trial. But yeah, in the end, we also do a lot of training on the TT bike and do a lot of efforts, and that also helps. But it's good every once in a while to also have a TT in competition.
Well, what a day of racing. The sun came out today, and another day of dominance by Jumbo-Visma with Wout van Aert, with Primoz Roglic, and their new signee for the year, Rowan Dennis, the world time trial champion from years past. The Australian smashed it, then Primoz Roglic came through, then Wout van Aert. Now, we got a lot of good signals from this race for the Tour de France, and even Wout van Aert said it himself over there in the mix zone when I asked him about how everything's coming into place for the Tour de France. Still a few months down the line, still he's got Flanders, he's got Roubaix, but today, well, that was an early marker, and you can bet that Tadej Pogačar will be watching this race to see how Primoz Roglic did. But you can bet that a guy like Wout van Aert and a team like Jumbo-Visma and Primoz Roglic, they love the time trial bikes. They don't want to see them go away because a team like that has an advantage. Like Ineos Grenadiers, they invest so much money in time trial equipment. They have the budget to do so, and it gives them a distinct advantage because they've done that research and done everything you need to do to be ready for these events today. As we're heading on from here, Paris-Nice, so little time trials in the season, but these guys, when they have the time trials, they take advantage. And today we saw a great show by Wout van Aert here at Paris-Nice by Primoz Roglic. What a day of racing.